Apple is still trying to overturn the ban on the Apple Watch blood oxygen sensor. Samsung bought Xealth to integrate its wearables into the healthcare system. And Epic Games ended its antitrust lawsuit against Samsung. It's Tuesday, July 8th, and here's a quick look at tech in the news this morning from Engadget. Apple is making another attempt to appeal the trade ban that forced it to remove the blood oxygen sensor from its smartwatches. That's according to a report from Reuters. The company was forced to remove the feature last year following a decision from the International Trade Commission back in 2023 that banned sales of the Apple Watch for violating health tech startup Masimo's patents. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit heard new arguments from Apple and Masimo's lawyers on Monday over the legality of the original ITC ban. Now, Apple's argument is that the fact Masimo was developing its own smartwatch when Apple released the Apple Watch Series 6 in 2020, the first of the company's wearables with a blood oxygen sensor, should not be enough to justify the ban. Masimo disagrees. The appeals court has heard the company's arguments before and even briefly paused the trade ban in December of 2023 while the ITC considered Apple's request for a longer pause. Ultimately, the ITC ruled in Masimo's favor and denied Apple's request. Apple removed the blood oxygen sensor last year so it could restart sales of the Apple Watch Series 9 and Apple Watch Ultra 2 in the States. The company's fight goes beyond just the blood oxygen sensor, though. Masimo's smartwatches were, ironically, found to infringe on Apple patents. But clearly, Apple is hung up on the feature. The company's blood oxygen sensor was never as accurate as the pulse oximeters used in a doctor's office, but it was part of a fairly comprehensive suite of heart health features on the smartwatch. It's entirely possible Apple wants to reintroduce it in its watches as part of an even more ambitious health feature down the road. Samsung is making a bigger push into healthcare. It is buying Xealth, a platform focused on digital health tools and care programs. Terms of the deal, such as the purchase price, have not been disclosed. Samsung expects the acquisition to be wrapped up by the end of the calendar year, pending closing conditions, such as any necessary regulatory approvals. Samsung says the deal will help to advance its transformation into a connected care platform that bridges wellness and medical care, bringing a seamless and holistic approach to preventative care to as many people as possible. Now, that involves creating synergy between its wearable tech and Xealth's platform by bringing together health data measured on its devices and clinical records at hospitals. Samsung says the integration can create a link between home health monitoring and clinical decision-making through enhancements to Xealth's platform, with the provider-patient relationship at the center of that effort. Xealth enables doctors to monitor and schedule care for patients at scale. More than 500 hospitals in the U.S. and 70-plus digital health solution partners use Xealth, which spun out of the Providence Health System. All of those will be able to access Samsung's platform. News of the acquisition comes just a couple of weeks after Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. spoke of his desire to have every American sporting a wearable within the next 4 years, a vision that led to raised eyebrows from critics. While Samsung may be sniffing an opportunity there, its acquisition of Xealth may have been in the works for some time. In any case, it's clear that Samsung is looking to diversify beyond its core businesses. Now, add to that, Samsung announced the Xealth deal on the same day it projected a 56% drop in operating profit for the second quarter. Epic Games has dropped its suit against Samsung, Epic CEO and founder Tim Sweeney posted on social media, "We're dismissing our court case against Samsung following the parties' discussions. We are grateful that Samsung will address Epic's concerns." The company filed the action back in September of last year. The lawsuit centered on the company's auto blocker feature, which only allows apps to be installed from the Google Play Store and Samsung Galaxy Store. Epic claimed this made it difficult for potential customers to use its own Epic Game Store and was a united effort by Google and Samsung to block that platform. Now, Sweeney did not elaborate on what actions Samsung would take as a result of the negotiations. Epic Games has been quick to take its rivals to court. This suit followed a successful one it filed against Google on claims that the tech giant's operation of the Google Play Store violated U.S. antitrust laws. Now, the gaming company was not as fortunate when it pursued similar charges against Apple. But after several appeals, Epic did force Apple to reverse course on transaction fees, and it got Fortnite back in the App Store. Thanks for listening. There's more to these stories and more tech news at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from Ian Carlos Campbell, Chris Holt, and Anna Washenko, and was voiced and produced from the sound studios of Spoken Layer. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with more tech news from Engadget.